Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Dorothy. I'm a professional astrologer. You can find me on the web at nhastrologer.com. And throughout the 3 months that I'll be talking about here, you can go join me there and read the full moon and new moon forecasts as they roll up and roll through. Alright, so I want to talk to you first off. This is for Leo and those with Leo rising. Alright, so let's start with April 4th. On April 4th we have a full moon lunar eclipse, and that is at 14 degrees of Libra. It is in the 3rd house for you. Now, first off, I want you to think back to October 8th, 2014, and what was going on in that month for you, and even into a few weeks before, and especially a few weeks to a few months afterwards. Eclipses are super duper powerful, new moons and full moons. Now, back in October, it was a full moon at 13 degrees of Libra. The full moon eclipse that we have on April 4th is at 14 degrees of Libra, so in essence it's the same location. This is in your 3rd house of communication. So you have Libra in that sector of your astrology chart, especially if you were if you're Leo or were born with Leo rising. That means this eclipse and the one in October is about something that is being completed. Now, if something was initiated or you started something back in October, even though it's a full moon, we can still start things on full moons, then maybe something is complete and done at this point. Or back in October you may have released something, let something go, and at this eclipse on April 4th is easily can help us to complete whatever that process was that was started 6 months prior. So think about it, see how that works for you. Being that it is in your 3rd house, that definitely has a lot to do with childhood memories, our siblings, our home environment, not the home and family itself, but the environment around the home and family, the neighborhood, our cousins, our siblings, things like that. So there might be some type of issue in relationships. Maybe a brother or a sister is having a relationship thing that you're helping them work through. It could be anything in that idea and with that likeness. And again, also about communicating within the dynamic of the relationships that you are currently in. Or if you have some unfinished business, that might come up as well. Relationships and talking. And we have to talk in these relationships or they just don't work, they fail. So I'm going to move on. So that's a big eclipse. See how it feels for you, and think about October, because we're going to get clues. We're lucky we get a clue every 6 months as to what the energy is coming up and what was. So looking back is important in this type of situation. All right, October 8th. See, I just have my notes here, so I just have to peek at my notes every once in a while so I can make sure I hit everything I want to talk about for you. October 8th, Jupiter is stationary, finally moving direct. It is stopping at that 12 degrees of Leo. So I want you to think back to mid-September. That is when Jupiter was at 12 degrees of Leo for the first time. And so what is going on now is going on, what was going on then can be something that's being affected now as well. This is in your 1st house, since Leo is on your rising, if you were born at the right time of day for that. Basically, I want you to focus on what's going on in the personal physique, the personal body. Lots of times when Jupiter's in their 1st house, every 12 years, well, sometimes we'll put on a little weight, you know, whether it's through muscle tone and getting heavier by exercising, or if it's through actual girth and putting on a little extra fat for protection. Jupiter is all about abundance, and when it's in the 1st house, it definitely makes us very big if we're not careful. Now, if we're looking for attention and we're out there, and marketing and media is very important to us, now that it's in a direct motion again as of April 8th, we're going to be able to really get some processes moving forward. I know a few people who started some projects in September and they kind of bombed a little bit. They didn't, great ideas, but they just didn't get off the ground, you know. They launched them at the wrong time. And so now I want you to think about it and possibly launching those things again, say early April. So if you need some specifics, contact me for your own private session. let's move on. April 16th, Pluto is stationary and moving retrograde at 15 degrees of Capricorn. That means that's an important degree. Again, that's just one of those, it's right in the middle of the cardinal sign, so definitely all about some shifts and changes going on in your 6th house, Leo, and that 6th house is all about my daily routine, my work, what's going on. My health might be needing some attention as well. So really healthy eating organic, or at least cleaning up what you're eating. You don't have to be an extremist, but cleaning up the way you're eating and what you're doing, and your physical exercise is very, very important, especially when Pluto is stationary in that area of your health and your everyday activities and your everyday routine. Now, Jupiter, not Jupiter. I had a number 4 here, and it looks like Jupiter. I was really writing sloppy. On April 18th, the new moon is at 28 degrees of Aries, and that's in your 9th house. Now, that just tells me that you expanding your awareness, expanding your education through experiences and through travel, and learning a newer level, a higher level, learning something new and something different for yourself is really important for you. So this new moon in Aries just means that you're going to help identify who you are by taking some new classes and doing some new energy work even, and really reaching out there and getting into that educational piece. Now, it could also mean that you're the teacher. So if that's something that you're looking forward to or have been working towards, now might be a good time for you to get those processes started and moving forward for yourself. And that starts right on April 18th when the new moon is in your 9th house. Let me move on to May. May 3rd, the full moon at 13 degrees of Scorpio is in your 4th house. Now, 13 degrees of Scorpio, that's Scorpio energy, and for everybody, that full moon in Scorpio is always an intense full moon once a year. It's in Scorpio, and it's super duper intense because we really have a lot of feeling. The moon's not a fan of being in that sign just because it is overly feeling and hard to be grounded. So it's an emotion that's fixed, so we kind of get stuck sometimes. For you, it's in your 4th house, and being in your 4th house, that's going to bring up old family dynamics, old family karma. So you got to keep an eye on that for yourself, and hopefully it won't be too dramatic for you. But being a Leo, it might be, but you're used to it because you've always been a Leo. So that's nothing new for you. All right, moving on to May 7th. At that point, Venus moves into the sign of Cancer. That is in your 12th house at this point. Venus transiting in Cancer in the 12th house. It's a very emotional place for Venus to be going. When she goes through that area of our charts once a year, we'll value our dreams, we'll value the psychological piece of our lives comes to our attention, especially with the sign of Cancer there, which is what you have, Leo. And so with Venus moving through there, we're going to really value our emotions, or learn how to value our emotions, or do that Buddhist thing. And I mean, the Buddhist way, one of the things is that if you're feeling an emotion, feel it. Just feel it, sit in it, feel it, be it, move it. And just be it and let it be what it is, and then you can get through it much quicker. So this is a way that you can use this Venus moving through Cancer through your 12th house, Leo. All right? So give that a try. On May 11th, and so that Venus in Cancer will be moving through that. Take about 4 weeks, okay? So you have a month to work with this, which is really a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to really understand how you feel. I just wanted to touch a little bit more on that one. On May 11th, Mars in the sign of Gemini is in your 11th house. So when it moves into Gemini, and that's a very, very social sign, it's moving into the 11th house, which is a very social house, and that's tells me that there's a lot of activity around creating new friends and new activities and joining new groups, and really being the initiative, or even starting new groups, being the person in charge of a new group, because that Mars is a go-getter. And in the 11th house is all about setting new goals in the dynamic of groups and finding new friends as well. Excuse me. It's moving a little cold from me. It is in the middle of the winter now that I'm recording this, even though I'm talking about the spring, and I'm looking forward to it. We're in the middle of a snowstorm right now. It's pretty amazing. All right, so let me move on to May 17th on the West Coast and May 18th on the East Coast. We have the next new moon at 26 degrees of Taurus. That's in your career sector, so this is really wonderful for you. It just means that your career, you're valuing your job, you're valuing your career, and you should be able to feel safe and secure within that. And if you don't, this new moon can help you create that stability and that security in your career, which you want to value, which you should value. And if you don't, you might make some changes. All right, so a new moon in that career sector, you can really set some goals as to your values around your career and what things are important for you. One issue though we have is on May 18th, Mercury is stationary and it goes retrograde, and that's at 13 degrees of Gemini. It is in the 11th house, so the friends and the groups and the new projects and things that you're all excited and ready to do. Because Mars is in Gemini in that 11th house, where Mercury is going to say, slow down. All right, now Gemini energy, I mean, Mars is retrograde in all of the air signs this year, 2015. So that just means that as humanity, as a race, we need to stop thinking so much and get out of our heads a little bit and start doing and feeling and just being and not thinking so much. But on the very mundane level, it's in your 11th house of friendships and groups that you belong to. So you're going to be reconsidering the friends and the groups that you belong to. And it will be retrograde for 3 weeks. And it will go direct on June 11th. All right? So in the meantime, just take your time with this retrograde energy and don't push it. If something comes up from the past, that's what you're supposed to do with it. You're supposed to work with it. All right? And it won't feel so dysfunctional like a lot of people try to give it credit for. The dysfunction is us. We're moving too fast, and we don't always think things through. So, May 21st, let me move on to that. The Sun does move into Gemini, so again, that highlights that retrograde of Mercury, and it highlights Mars, because throughout the next couple of weeks, the Sun will make a conjunction to Mercury, so it will highlight again that communication that is or is not working for you, and it will also highlight the Mars energy, which is all about taking action and reaching new goals and reaching new groups and seeing and meeting new people. So all of that's going to happen all in the month of May and moving actually into part of June. Next, let's move into June. June 2nd, the full moon is at 11 degrees of Sagittarius in your 5th house. That 5th house is where we like to have fun, express ourselves. It's what we're passionate about. It's also our children, the things we create, which is, can be fun and artistic, but also the children. We create them as well. And so with the full moon in that area, it could just be that, you're really looking, it's June, it's late spring, early summer in the Northern Hemisphere, and we're looking to have fun and get out and just do and have a lot of activities with the children in our lives or the people that we have a lot of fun with. And it's also about creating, it's fire energy in a firehouse, so we can create the things that we're passionate about. June 5th, Venus enters Leo, and that means Venus moves into your 1st house. So now you can just go, ta-da, here I am. You're going to get a new hairstyle, wear some brighter colors. You're just going to feel very invigorated by Venus in your 1st house in Leo. You want people to notice you. There's something inside that just makes you want to be noticed. New haircut, new makeup, new style, new clothes. Something in that is very, very mundane, but this is the energy of what is presented to you who are Leo or have Leo rising. Venus moving into your own sign is just a beautiful thing. On June 14th, we have Saturn moving back. It's already retrograde, moving back into the sign of Scorpio. It will be in that sign of Scorpio until it moves forward and then back into Sag. That's September 18th. So this is in your 4th house. So the foundation and the structure of your life has already gone through a shift from 2012 to 2014. And now that Saturn moves back to Scorpio and back into your 4th house, there's going to be another little shakeup. And the shakeup is only the final it's basically the final little pieces that might need some cleaning up for you. And again, it's all the karma, it's family lineage, it's your home and family. So if you've felt unstable for the last few years, it's very possible that you can stabilize your family life now. And if it's not even family, but at least your home life, be able to stabilize that a little bit better, just to find those last few pieces that will fit in to make everything okay. On June 16th, we have the new moon at 25 degrees in Gemini. Again, the 11th house is a very big point for you these couple of months, May and June. So when the new moon in Gemini is going to highlight what you've been doing with the action of Mars from early May, with the action of the Sun from the end of May, and from the action of that Mercury retrograde in Gemini. Basically, this new moon is going to highlight all of that and say, okay, now you've done a lot of work from May to the middle part of June. What are your goals now? Right? What are your goals now? It's going to be all about communicating, socializing, and all of those Gemini things. Communicating, socializing, getting out there, speaking, talking, listening. You need to do all of the above. Whether you do it well or unwell, it doesn't matter, as long as you're working Gemini items. And that's what those are. I want to finish up with the summer solstice on June 21st. That's basically the sun moving into the sign of Cancer. And on the 24th, Mars will move into the sign of Cancer as well. And so both of those are in your 12th house. So that solstice, that summer solstice, is at just after noontime on the east coast of the United States, Eastern time zone. And so that is a highlight of the summer, and that means that we could possibly have a little bit of a cooler summer than we typically want, because since Cancer is a water sign, we might have a cooler, wetter summer than we like. But on the mundane world, this is in your 12th house, so that means that the emotions and the nurturing and caring that you feel for yourself and you feel for others, all of that is coming to a head, but it's coming through in a psychological place, that 12th house. What is it that I keep hidden from myself? What are the psychological things that I need to work with and work through over the next month while the sun is in the sign of Cancer, and over the next 6 weeks while the Mars is in the sign of Cancer? I'm going to be working through old issues, psychological problems if I have any, and I'm going to be really working on my meditation and what my spiritual life is all about. So I want to leave you with that. Thank you for watching. I love sharing this, and all of this is what I love to do, but this is my living, so please, if you would, come to my website. If you need a private session, I can help you out with that. I also teach classes online, and I see you on Skype or phone sessions, and I would love to help you out if I can. Thank you for listening, and hit rewind and play often, because that's 3 months worth of stuff right there. And share, share, share. And I'm on Facebook, Dorothy Morgan Astrologer. All the links are below. Thank you very much, and blessed be. And namaste.